Welcome, friend. I'm James, your host, and today we're diving into another captivating episode. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and get ready for a powerful story that's sure to resonate. If something hits home, share your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive in.
Aita for being constantly paranoid that my boyfriend, 19, is cheating on me, 18F. Advice needed. Okay, Reddit, gather around because I need to spill some serious tea. Here's the lowdown. My boyfriend and I have been in this whirlwind romance for over 2 years, and we finally took the plunge to move in together this summer. New city, new apartment. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? But let me tell you, this story is anything but a happily ever after. Picture this. We're young, excited, and ready to tackle university life together, filled with dreams of late-night study sessions and cozy movie marathons. We imagined exploring our new city, making memories, and growing together. The excitement of our first place was palpable. I could almost see the late-night talks and laughter echoing through the halls. But the reality has been more of a reality show than a dream come true, complete with drama, tears, and a whole lot of mistrust. The initial excitement quickly morphed into a heavy cloud of doubt hanging over me, suffocating the joy I should have been feeling. When we moved, he was already settled in our new place a couple of months earlier to get everything ready for me. I thought we were building something beautiful, something solid. I pictured us decorating together, making our little home feel cozy and inviting. But while I was back home, he decided to download Hinge and some other dating app. I stumbled upon this little nugget of information when I accidentally discovered that he was not just swiping left and right, but actually chatting with multiple girls. It felt like a betrayal so deep that I couldn't comprehend it at first. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Not only was he flirting, but he also arranged to meet one of these girls. He swears he felt guilty and didn't go through with it. But let's be real. Who puts themselves in that position and then walks away unscathed? The betrayal crushed me, and it's been haunting me ever since. I replayed that moment over and over in my head, grappling with disbelief and heartache. How could someone I trusted so deeply choose to entertain that kind of attention? Fast forward to today, and I'm living in a constant state of paranoia, like I'm starring in my own horror movie. I used to be this chill girlfriend, the one who trusted him to talk to whoever without a second thought. But now, I can't shake this feeling that I'm living in a soap opera full of cliffhangers and dramatic twists. Each time he gets a notification, I feel a pang in my stomach. I can almost hear the suspenseful music playing in the background. It's as if every time he picks up his phone, a new plot twist is unfolding, and I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry. My mind races with thoughts. Is he texting someone? Who is she? What are they saying? Am I just being paranoid, or is my gut telling me something I refuse to acknowledge? We've had our share of explosive arguments over this, with me breaking down in tears and him getting defensive, throwing around accusations that I'm overreacting. I would scream, he would shout, and nothing would resolve. We've tried to sweep it under the rug, but the unease lingers like an unwanted guest, a constant reminder of the cracks forming in our relationship. The trust that once felt unbreakable has become fragile, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells every time we're together. Every laugh we share feels tainted by the nagging fear in the back of my mind. Here's where it gets even spicier. He's glued to Snapchat like it's a lifeline, and it drives me absolutely crazy. I swear, I've never seen someone so obsessed with posting every little moment of their day. From mundane updates about his lunch to those overly filtered selfies that scream for attention, his phone seems to dictate his mood. It's like he needs constant validation from the outside world. His phone buzzes constantly, and I can practically feel my heart racing every time I hear that notification tone. Is it just a friend? A girl? A random stranger? Every time I hear it, I'm filled with dread and curiosity. Whenever I ask him who he's talking to, he gives me that classic eye roll, dismissing my concerns and accusing me of being paranoid. It's infuriating. He acts as if I'm the crazy one, the one who can't let go of the past, while he carries on as if nothing is wrong. It's maddening. Just the other day, I caught him posting a super attractive pic of himself flexing. He's been hitting the gym, and I get it, but my heart dropped as I scrolled through the comments from random girls fawning over him. The flood of "OMG, you're so hot," and "When do I get to see you?" made my stomach twist into knots. When I confronted him about his post, his anger flared like a volcano. He told me I was overreacting and that I should trust him. In a fit of rage, he deleted the app right then and there, which felt like a small victory. I thought maybe this was a turning point for us, a way to rebuild what was broken. But instead of relief, I felt a sense of foreboding creeping back in. The very next day, he's back on Snapchat like nothing happened. I felt a surge of frustration and resentment bubbling inside me, threatening to spill over. It's like he's playing a game, and I'm stuck on the losing side. I can't help but wonder if he's testing my limits, or if he genuinely doesn't care how this affects me. It's a sick cycle, and I'm starting to feel like a prisoner in my own mind, locked in a cell of doubt and fear. In a moment of weakness, and okay, maybe a little snooping, I grabbed his phone while he was in the shower. What I found made my heart race, pounding in my chest like a warning bell. I discovered chat after chat with at least 30 different people in just the past week. Most of the messages had been automatically deleted, but some were still there. Flirty exchanges that sent me spiraling down a rabbit hole of anxiety. One girl, named Natalie, had just popped into his life a few days ago, and I couldn't believe my eyes. She was calling him handsome and saying how much she missed him. My world felt like it was collapsing. I was drowning in betrayal and confusion. The realization hit me like a freight train, and I felt my entire world tilt on its axis. I was sick to my stomach, picturing him laughing with her, flirting in a way he'd never done with me. I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, teetering between hope and despair, terrified of what I might find if I took another step closer. At this point, I'm wrestling with my emotions like they're a bad reality show, unsure whether to scream or cry. Should I confront him again? Should I drop an ultimatum on him like a bombshell? Delete Snapchat and stay with me, or keep it and walk out? The thought of it makes my stomach churn, especially since we just moved in together. Our lease doesn't end until April, and the financial strain of breaking up terrifies me. We can barely afford rent, let alone living separately, and I can't imagine trying to navigate this world alone again. The fear of being left alone, compounded by the thought of starting over, is paralyzing. My heart tells me to hold on to what we have, but my mind screams that I deserve better than this emotional turmoil. I'm caught in a tug of war between love and self-preservation, and the stress is taking its toll on me, manifesting in sleepless nights and anxious thoughts that consume my every waking moment. I keep thinking about how breaking up isn't really an option for me. I love him more than anything. He's my person, my support system, my everything. I see him every morning, and it fills me with warmth. The thought of waking up without him feels unbearable. It's a confusing contradiction because one moment I'm thrilled to see him, and the next I'm tormented by visions of him with other girls. I can't just throw away what we've built, but the constant fear that he's chatting up other girls is suffocating, stealing the joy from what used to be a beautiful relationship. The moments we share feel tainted with uncertainty, each laugh hiding an undercurrent of doubt. I've seen the signs, the way he lights up when his phone pings, the quick glances he throws at his screen when he thinks I'm not looking. It's as if I'm in a twisted game of hide and seek, and I feel like the only one who's lost, spiraling deeper into this emotional maze. I've heard of emotional cheating, and it's like I'm staring down the barrel of that gun every time I see him with his phone in hand. The irony? He's no longer on dating apps, but now he's using something called Send It, which looks innocent enough. I can't help but wonder if it's just a new avenue for him to flirt with others, a way to keep that thrill alive without the commitment. Every time he brings up how much fun he's having or shares something he saw on that app, I feel my chest tighten and a wave of anxiety washes over me. I'm at my wit's end, trapped in this cycle of doubt and despair, wondering how we got here and if there's a way back to the trust we once had. The thought of losing him makes my stomach churn, but the fear of what he might be doing behind my back sends me spiraling further into insecurity. The emotional roller coaster I'm on feels relentless, and every day feels like a battle to maintain my sanity. The memories of our happier times often clash with my current reality, intensifying the pain. I remember our late-night conversations, sharing our dreams and secrets as we snuggled under the blankets. I can almost hear the laughter that used to fill our apartment, the sweet moments that made me believe in the strength of our bond. But now, those memories are like shards of glass, beautiful yet sharp, reminding me of everything that feels broken. It's as if I'm living in two separate worlds, one filled with hope and happiness, and the other consumed by jealousy and fear. I often find myself scrolling through our old photos, desperately clinging to those moments when everything felt perfect, trying to convince myself that we can return to that place. But with every flirty message I uncover, every Snapchat notification that buzzes, the weight of distrust settles heavier on my shoulders. I can't help but wonder if I'm being naive, holding on to the hope that this is just a rough patch and not a sign of deeper issues. My friends tell me that trust is the foundation of any relationship, and right now our foundation feels like it's crumbling beneath us. I talk to them about my feelings, but sometimes their advice feels like it only complicates matters more. Some say I should confront him, while others suggest that I should just give him space to figure things out. But how do I take a step back when my heart is screaming for answers? As the days pass, the internal conflict rages on. The ultimatum looms larger in my mind, and I weigh the pros and cons of approaching him with it. I keep replaying potential conversations in my head, imagining how he might react. What if he becomes even more defensive? What if he accuses me of being controlling or insecure? My stomach twists at the thought. But can I continue to live like this, tethered to a relationship that feels increasingly uncertain? The thought of breaking up terrifies me, yet the prospect of staying in this state of constant anxiety feels equally unbearable. Finally, after a sleepless night spent wrestling with my thoughts, I muster the courage to bring it up. We're sitting on the couch, the glow of the TV casting shadows around us. I can feel the tension crackling in the air, and my heart races as I finally voice my fears. "Can we talk about Snapchat?" I ask, my voice trembling slightly. He looks at me, confusion flickering in his eyes, and I can tell he's already bracing himself for a confrontation. "I just don't understand why you need it so much," I continue, trying to keep my tone even. "You don't even seem to use it for anything meaningful. It just feels like you're keeping your options open." His reaction is immediate. He rolls his eyes and lets out an exasperated sigh. "This again?" he asks, his tone sharp. "I thought we agreed to move past this. I'm not doing anything wrong." The defensive posture he takes sends a chill down my spine. I try to explain my feelings, but it's like talking to a brick wall. My heart sinks as I realize that this conversation isn't going the way I'd hoped. The emotional wall I feel between us grows thicker, and I'm left grasping for any sign that he understands where I'm coming from. But the more I push, the more he retreats into anger and frustration. He accuses me of being paranoid and controlling, claiming I'm the one making things difficult. It feels like a punch to the gut. I'm not trying to control him, I'm just trying to protect myself from further hurt. In that moment, I can't help but wonder if we're truly compatible. The love I once thought was strong enough to weather any storm feels fragile in the face of this escalating tension. As the argument reaches its peak, I feel tears pricking at the corners of my eyes, blurring my vision. It's a moment of raw vulnerability, and I realize how desperately I want to be understood. "I just love you, and I don't want to lose you," I finally admit, my voice breaking. The vulnerability in my words hangs in the air, and for a fleeting moment, I see a flicker of softness in his expression. But just as quickly, it's gone, replaced by defensiveness once more. "I'm tired of having this conversation," he snaps, and the finality of his words crushes any lingering hope I had. The fight dissipates, leaving behind a hollow silence that feels heavier than any argument we've had. I can't shake the feeling that I'm losing him, not just to other girls, but also to the emotional distance that's crept between us like a thief in the night. After that confrontation, the atmosphere in our apartment shifts. It's a strange mix of tension and unresolved feelings, and I can feel the divide growing. Every time I see him pick up his phone, my heart races with anxiety. I wish I could shake off the fear and trust him, but each passing day seems to push us further apart. I start to contemplate the idea of couples therapy, wondering if a third party might help us navigate these turbulent waters. But the thought of bringing it up feels daunting. As time goes on, I notice a change in my own behavior too. I find myself scrolling through his social media, looking for any sign of infidelity or flirtation. It's an unhealthy habit that's slowly consuming me. I know I shouldn't do it, but the urge to check becomes overwhelming. I scroll through his followers, analyzing every girl's profile and questioning his connections. It's a dark path, one that fills me with shame, yet I feel powerless to stop myself. I'm trapped in a cycle of jealousy and suspicion that seems to have no end. Finally, after weeks of this emotional roller coaster, I reach my breaking point. I sit down with my best friend, pouring out my heart. I can't keep doing this, I admit, tears streaming down my face. I love him, but I can't live in this constant state of fear and doubt. She listens patiently, nodding in understanding. You deserve someone who makes you feel secure, not someone who keeps you guessing, she says gently. Her words resonate deep within me, and I realize that I need to take control of my life. Armed with newfound determination, I decide to take action. It's time for a serious conversation, one that could change the course of our relationship. I think long and hard about how to approach him. I want to express my love while also standing firm in my boundaries. I know I can't live in limbo any longer, so I gather my courage, hoping this time he'll hear me. As I sit down with him again, I remind myself of all the reasons I fell in love with him in the first place. The way his laughter could light up my darkest days, and the warmth of his embrace that felt like home. I start by telling him how much he means to me, how our relationship has been a beautiful journey filled with shared dreams and memories. I remind him that I'm not trying to control him, but that my feelings are valid, and I need him to understand the toll this situation is taking on my heart. I need to know that I can trust you, that I'm not just someone to keep around while you explore your options, I say, my voice steady but vulnerable. I can see the gears turning in his mind, and for the first time in a while, I feel like we're truly having a conversation. After what feels like an eternity, he finally speaks, his voice softer. I never meant to hurt you. I've been trying to figure things out too, he admits, his honesty catching me off guard. It's a step in the right direction, and I feel a flicker of hope. As we continue to talk, I feel the tension slowly dissipating. We discuss boundaries and trust, and I express my need for transparency. He agrees to be more open about his phone use, and we talk about the importance of setting limits on social media interactions. For the first time, I feel like we're working together rather than against each other. In the end, I realize that love is not just about passion, it's also about communication and compromise. While I still have my fears, I'm willing to fight for our relationship. I know it won't be easy, but as we wrap up our conversation, I can't help but feel a renewed sense of hope. Perhaps we can find our way back to each other after all. So Reddit, what do you think? Am I on the right track? Is it possible to rebuild trust after all of this? Or have I been too forgiving? My boyfriend has a history of cheating and is now using Snapchat to flirt with other girls. I found flirty messages with a girl he started talking to recently. After confronting him multiple times, we had a breakthrough conversation about trust and boundaries. I'm hoping we can rebuild our relationship, but I'm not sure if I should be more cautious or if we can truly overcome this.